Wildworks came to St Denis to look for memories, with the aim of honouring its past, valuing its present and imagining its future.
I was born at a place called Biscavallat, near Greensplat. And I came out to Whitemore to live when I was 14. I've been in St Denis Parish now 66 years. But I lived in the village 46. And after I left school, I went farming for my living. And then I went to clay work.
For 8 generations, digging deep into the backbone of Cornwall was the expectation for most St Denis men. At its peak, when Richard left farming, nearly 4,000 men worked in the Cornish Alps. But recent technological advances, coupled with a falling demand for the manual skills passed on from father to son, has led to inevitable job cuts.
There used to be, I don't know, we could say between 12 and 16 men just working in this pit years ago. And it went down at the end, it went down to about 4 men working here. It was enjoyable work when they had the full work crowd here. We was happy, like, you know. But come end up, you was 9 times out of 10, you was left on your own, and the atmosphere had completely gone. Like, there was no atmosphere, no enjoyment in the work no more, like, you know. You do miss it. You can say what everybody say, oh, it's nice to get out for night shift and all, I mean, but you still wake up early in the mornings, and, you know, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, like, you know, it depends. I don't miss the shifts so much, but you do miss the company of working with your men, you know, because at the moment now I'm in Tesco's working, and it's nice in there working. The girls in there have been good as gold to me because of my age, I suppose. They've looked after me and treated me lovely, like, you know, and it's a wonderful atmosphere in there. But I think the same as working with men, you know, you've got to watch your P's and Q's in there a little bit, and, you know, without here you don't need to shave for a day or two, and, you know, it was quite nice really. You could look pretty scruffy really, you know, but you can't in there, you've got to be quite, you know, up and quite smart, like, you know.
With fewer than 2,000 men employed in the clay industry today, the youth of St Denis will be looking for work elsewhere.
I know some friends at the minute that have got a Saturday job, but otherwise they're planning to do full-time college, just get a few qualifications. I don't know many people that wanted to do an apprenticeship.
Well, I'll be leaving school in 2 years. Year 9.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years' time, and I'll probably just not really do anything, like get a job and like just do my own thing, like.
What do you fancy doing?
Electrician. I'm going to do that, I think, because I'm really good at electrics, and I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm older.
I'd say there isn't much left here for the youngsters now. I mean, years ago they had all this here, they had apprenticeships, they had jobs to come into. Nanp in there was a great big apprenticeship down there. You had stores that was making everything, not sending away from it, making it, and they don't do it nowadays. There's nothing here for them. Electricians and all we used to have around the works don't bother now. They hire them in, and that's it. Like, you know, we used to have the masons, carpenters, all sorts. Like, you know, down at Melbourne, and I suppose the same here. They used to have their own carpenters, their own fitters, you know, and they used to mend their own houses and all, like, you know. And there's none of that now, see, so all the trade skills is gone from here, really, like, you know.
Many traditional skills have been lost, but 3 generations of the Blewett family continue to follow the ways of their ancestors at Carcella Farm.
It was a demanding job, but then, I mean, you accept that. You've got certain compensations, you've got space, you've got fresh air, you get out of bed, you roll into work, you haven't got travel to work on the M25 or anything like that. There's no traffic jams, you're in your work. All you got to do is open the back door and there's your work. When I took the tenancy, a lot of this is Scotland land. Took the tenancy in 1972. We had a continuity of inheritance for the tenant, so it's for 3 generations guaranteed. So it'll be me, Paul, and Ben secured.
There's no such thing as a guaranteed job or a guaranteed market in today's supermarket-driven agricultural industry.
The industry have had a hard time the last 10 years, and the rewards haven't been what they should be. But Ben is, been very, very good, and I think there's a shortage of food knocking on the door now, and hopefully things will come a bit better.
The land that we farm at the moment goes right along the horizon there. There's Treviska over there. Actually, it touches 4 parishes: St Stephen's Parish, Roach Parish, St Editors Parish, and obviously we're in St Denis Parish. St Denis is a good community, lovely community, lots of organisations, the most resourceful village in the whole of Restormal area, because we've got our church, we've got 2 Methodist chapels, we've got our chemist shop, we've got our doctor's surgery, Barclays Bank branch, post office. We haven't lost very much. There's a lot of smaller shops gone out, but we're resourceful.
I still work. Well, get up 6 o'clock. I try and get back there by about 7:15. I can be there anywhere from there till midday, 2 or 3 times a week. Saturdays and Sundays I try to just give them their feed and not go for any other extras, if you know, like washing buckets and cleaning tails or doing anything a bit extra that needs doing.
So there's no such thing as retirement then?
Well, I don't want to retire, actually.
Yeah, this is our job, isn't it, Ashley?
Yeah, and the paperwork.
I think it's the lambs really that we like doing, Ashley. We kind of go into maternal instinct when we have a lamb.
It's a big job, is it?
Yeah, well, it's very tiring.
And when will that start?
Well, end of February usually, we say, but I think they might be a bit earlier this year. Usually we check them really late at night, and then whoever comes in for milking at 4 o'clock will then check them. And then I take on again after that. And Ashley, in the mornings early, don't you, Ashley?
6 o'clock.
So much you have to do to a sheep. You've got to keep its feet right. You've got to keep its tail right. Otherwise, the maggots get there. And
yeah. This really, compared to the amount that we used to have, I mean, this is a hobby, really. That's all you can say, isn't it, really?
If that wool covered the cost this year of the shearing, did it?
Not really.
Well, the wool's not worth anything it never covered the cost of shearing this year. And nobody wants it.
But, this is kind of like mine and Ashley's hobby, isn't it, really? It's not for anything else.
The main business at Carcella is milk production. Despite fluctuating prices, the stock still needs to be fed. 16-year-old Ben Blewett's main concern is looking after the dairy herd.
Well, I work Mondays 8 till 6, and then Tuesdays 8 till 8, Wednesdays 8 till 6, Thursdays 8 till 8, Fridays 8 till 6. and every other weekend morning milking, and
So you're working every day?
yeah. And then like this, I got this Saturday afternoon off and Sunday morning, and then the weekend after I'll be milking Saturday night, Sunday morning, and have Saturday afternoon, morning off, and Sunday afternoon off.
Richard Budge may not have had to work on Sundays when he was a boy, but neither was he allowed to play.
Things are different now than when I was coming on. Young, yeah. When we went Sunday school, I say, when I was 5, carried right on through. Yeah. So things is definitely different what it was back then. Give you one instance. I came home from Sunday school one Sunday and changed my clothes, put on my school clothes like, and took the cast ball out of the cupboard and kicked the ball out round outside against the wall. My father came out and said, "Aye, put away the ball, Sunday's day." So I had to put the ball back in the cupboard. 3 weeks after, I took my push bike out when I came home from Sunday school. I wasn't cleaning off. Same thing, put your bike away, he said, to Sunday day. He said, "Why didn't you clean it yesterday?" So that was that.
Generations of Clay Country people have played in St Dennis Band. Formed in 1838 to mark the coronation of Queen Victoria, they've been winning championships ever since. They are part of a long tradition of music and entertainment.
This is the Church of England school, which obviously we came to as children from 5 until 7 before we went up to the top school. But for me, it was more a teenage presence when we revived the pantomime company after the war, and we used to have the Dramatic Society. We used to have 3-act plays, 1-act plays. We had dances here. The guides and the scouts have used it as a hall. The Mothers' Union used to use it, and they had pageants. They used to build a stage, and we had all the local talent painting the scenery and making our own costumes. One of the things I remember about the very first pantomime I came in here in the village was saying we couldn't afford tights and all the rest of it. The makeup man, my future husband, he used to work for Donald Richards, and he was the makeup man. And because we couldn't afford tights, I had to have leg makeup put on, and I used to stand astride one of the school tables, and Donald put makeup on one leg and Michael the other. So we often said, well, that got us used to each other a little bit. But we had tremendous fun, tremendous fun. Just after the war, there weren't always that many men around, so sometimes the ladies had to take men's parts. And my two sisters, my sister was a policeman and Shirley was Simple Simon, and half-time they went down to the local hostelry and somebody spiked her drink, and during the topical number Shirley went 4 steps forward, 4 back, 4 forward, and fell off the front of the stage right onto my father, who was playing the drums. But my sister, who was playing the policeman, made it look as if it was all part of it, went down and took her by the scruff of the neck and backside and hauled her back up, and everybody thought it was part of it. But, you know, things like that stick in your mind. And, of course, your photographs, wonderful memories.
Many social activities which thrived in St Denis before the days of 24-hour TV have gradually died out. But for the village pantomime, the show goes on.
At least it is continuing in the pantomime and involving the youth of the village and carrying on the tradition, which is just perfect.
In the 1930s, St Denis celebrated the opening of the Plaza Cinema. A young man who was immediately drawn to the silver screen and took on the job of projectionist was Harry Barrett.
That's right. The cinema, the Plaza Cinema, I came there in 1932, May the 2nd, and we opened the first night on May the 8th. The children you see in the front here were the first ones to dash in through the door when the doors were open, rush down to the front and take all the front seats. The front seats up to, say, six rows was 9pence. For another 4 or 5 rows was 1 and 3pence. And then we had 4 rows of tippets. The posh side, that's the luxury side, that was 1 and 6. And this is in talkers. The first thing I showed there was talkers. And they went from silent films to talkers, and I was the one that showed the first talkers. We could only take in 199 people. That was the council's license. They licensed it for that. Go over that and you get fined, shut down.
For more than half a century, Harry was the village photographer, the eyes of St Denis, recording brass band concerts, the annual carnival, wedding days, football matches and other village events.
This is the St Denis WI, and they're entering the door there to the room that was given to them by the War Memorial Institute Management Committee. And that was in 1926. And they had then, well, they're still carrying on, it's about 75 years. This one I thought was very interesting. It shows a difference in today. You go in the clayworks today, and most of the people go around with their evening suits on. At this time, it was all manual tools, manual work, and they used to say it's slogging it, but it's a darn good photograph considering the time 1930 taken, when you had to look in the sky and see the light. No meters, everything was there. No AF, it wasn't automatic focusing. You had to do everything yourself. And then come home, on it, that was about the size of the plate. Come home and perhaps do 30 of those singly.
Much of Harry's life was spent in darkness. By day he worked in his darkroom, and at night he was behind the projector at the plaza, bringing the latest films to an eager audience. Saturday
evening, we had a full house, everything was going fine, and the first feature was nearly over, adverts coming up, and 2 or 3 of the audience thought they'd like some chips, so they ran across the road to Whiskers' chip shop, centre of St Denis, got the chips coming out, the band was coming down through St Denis, and people are carrying the cup, and the blokes with their chips ran into the cinema and said, the band is coming, they're carrying the cup, they must have won the damn cup. And everybody came out, everybody ran out. And the boss, who had shouted up to me, shut down, the audience have gone out, the band is here. And I thought, what the heck is all this about? I'd never had experiences before. And they stayed there listening to music and speeches of the band winning the cups. And when they came back, he shouted up again, "Right, start up, they're all back in again." And we went on then until at least an hour and a half over the time. The time we finished up was about up at 11, 12 o'clock at night.
The golden age of cinema ended when the Plaza was demolished in 1964.
Well, the site of the Plaza Cinema was where those houses are now, and just behind that there was a little terrace of houses that went down a little alleyway, and then there was a little tiny garage with a galvanised roof, which obviously holds memories for me because my late husband did his apprenticeship there. And I used to walk, I was born and brought up at the bottom of Robarts Road, and used to walk to the chemist 3 times a day because I used to go home for dinner and tea. And we used to joke that courting was like taking medication 3 times a day after meals.
The lanes around St Denis hold many romantic memories for Phil Luke.
Menna is very special to me because my husband and I did some of our courting at Menna. We met when I was 13 at the Plaza Cinema St Denis, and then at 16 we started going out regular, and in the meantime Cyril went and did his national service. We had a break of 2 years then, and a year we were engaged and another year we were married, and it lasted for 49 years. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this. This is what they call a kissing gate. When the young couples came down here, they kissed each other in the gate. That's the way I used to come down. With Cyril, yeah. It was somewhere to go, to be on your own sort of thing, you know, just the 2 of us walking. It was lovely down there. I mean, we didn't go down there in the dark, only in the daylight. And I mean, we could only go to St Austell or Newquay on the bus. I mean, you couldn't afford to go every day, you just went once in a while, like. So Menna was the next place.
Away from the peace and quiet of the country lanes lies another world. A world hidden from view by mountainous burrows of waste. The price Cornwall paid for providing the world with the raw material for paper, ceramics, paint and medicines is a scar so wide and so long that farms, cottages and even villages have been swallowed up and buried. This landscape has changed forever. But one day the clay will be exhausted, and only then will nature have a chance to claim it back. But nearby, in a disused clayworks, nature has taken over in just 40 years. A dedicated team is now working hard to uncover the past.
Of course, this is Tregargus Valley, so we called it the Tregargus Trust, and we've carried on as Tregargus Trust ever since. We get grants for where we can get it, and we do a lot of work ourselves. I mean, we run a harvest festival every year, we run a barbecue every year, and we get, you know, little bits from everywhere. And the biggest grant, John, 9,000?
Yes, yeah.
Well, we was the forerunners of it. I mean, I don't think anybody else would.
No, I've been around about 8 years with the trust now.
Me and you and Babs, really, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
We started off with, you know, half a dozen or 8, like, you know, and more or less gone. And people with the trade, like this building here, we need pointing, you know, taking off ivy and pointing. Then we could say, yes, well, you could come down and do it, you know, with ableness to do it, and we could watch that, no problem.
We get advice from different people, like clearance of 5 metres from any structure with a growing, if you look around you can see like young growing stuff, it's only been there 3 or 4 years. and we can eradicate that stuff. You have to draw a line somewhere between what is going to destroy the valley and what we would destroy we shouldn't be doing, so we have to be a little bit careful. Me and Ken are like pretty careful about that. We study things and say, well, does that tree need to be cut down, or is it dangerous, or is it going to blow in on somebody or sometime? Plus the fact that the tree you don't think is going to fall down is the one that will fall down, and you'll get someone ringing you up saying, well, there's a tree down in the valley. And then because we're not allowed to work in the valley on our own, we have to be two of us. That's why me and Ken are so friendly. That's where we got to keep, come in, and we are country boys, and we, country old age pensioners. And it's nice. Even across here, I mean, okay, it wasn't very nice years ago, but this across here is all spoilings from the actual quarries. And it's nice. I mean, we haven't put a path for people to walk up here, because at the moment we think we've got enough paths anyhow. We have one along here which we're hoping the Cornwall College will open for us. No one else seems to want to do the job. And it's just a matter of balancing the path.
Just a matter of just, digging down a little bit and just levelling out a bit. There's a few just weary-davy places that needs just so people won't hurt themselves, really.
On the end of this building we're coming up to now, there is the bell for the blasting. All we've got left is the pulley, but that was where the men used to be warned that there was a blasting taking place. This is a project we've talked about on Tuesday night. We're going to restore this wheel. You can see it's not been used since the 1950s. We're going to clean out underneath here. Right underneath here is a tunnel which leads to the right other side of the road. That was to let the wagons into these bays here. Look. Okay, so we got to search down in that road somewhere, just the other side, until we find a tunnel. Then we're going to get this water out of this place. What we're going to do now, we're going to measure the spokes, the length, and when the actual width of each spoke, and go and get us some prices on that, and then we'll assemble the wheel back again, or get someone to do it, because the actual rim of the wheel is in good condition. Usually they get broken, and if they break, well, then it's a major job to get it fixed again. Once the structures are clear, we can get these engineers, civil engineers in then, will advise us what to do, or advise us that we can pass it on and get a grant from somewhere else. We just need to preserve what we got here in this valley for future generations.
If there is one thing which unites young and old, it's having spent their childhoods racing up the Twin Peaks, known to all as Flatty and Pointy. But these symbols of St Denis are now under threat.
And there's clay underneath Pointy and Flatty, so they're going to plan on blowing it up. I mean, it's basically St Denis. That's, you go to someone in St Stephen's, go, where are you from? You say St Denis. They're like, yeah. You come from where Pointy and Flatty, right? And it's like, yeah. So everyone knows Pointy and Flatty is St Denis.
I've been up there and I can literally see my house, the top of my house. It's gorgeous. Sometimes you can even stand there and all the clouds will just come by you. It's really nice, it is.
If you go and ask anyone in the street and ask, do you want Pointy and Flatty to go, I guarantee it'll be a no.
I don't want them to go. And that is my main thing in my life. I don't want them to go.
I mean, everyone feels so compassionately about these mountains. If everyone loves them, why take it away from us? You'd just have a rebellion on their hands. We're sat on top of Pointy now, very windy today, and behind me is Roach, and beyond that is Bugle, and then to the left of Bugle is Penwithick, and right in front of us is Nampian, Foxhole and then St Austell, and right behind you is St Dennis, and then beyond that is Newquay. On a very good day and it's all nice and clear, you can see the sea out Newquay. So I remember the first time I moved to this village, I met a group of people and they says, how long have you been here? I was like, oh, just a couple of weeks. And they go, oh, we must take you up Pointy and Flatty and do this and that and this. So next day I think it was a real nice day, real hot, and they brought me and my sister up both these, Pointy and Flatty, and then at the end of it we was all exhausted. So we went and chilled out next to Shalava, laying on our sandy beach, as we call it. And ever since then, that's what St Dennis has been all about to me, Pointy, Flatty, and sitting next to Chalava. It's the good old days.